school can be in... Let's try that again. 3, 2, 1. Back to school can be an exciting time with stacked days, full schedules, and new routines. Through all the changes, it's important to implement measures supporting the health of our little ones. Freelance researcher and writer for Women in Wellness and mom of soon-to-be 4 boys, Teresa Meacham joins me. I'm so glad to have you here, Teresa.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited to talk about how we can get our kids started off on the right foot going to school.
Yes, I know that there's a lot of adjustments that happen in the household as well as for the little ones themselves, even as ones that maybe are starting kindergarten for the first time.
Yes.
A lot happens.
That is where I'm at. I have my oldest twins are starting kindergarten, so it's a whole new phase for our family, brand new season in life, and we're trying to implement some of these healthier ways to get started.
Before we dive into some of these ways, tell me what you're up to right now. You do a lot of cool things amidst being a mom.
I'm very thankful. I have been able to write for a while. As you said, I've been a freelance writer and researcher for 2 women who have private wellness practices. They're actually both in Texas, but I'm able to kind of do some of their behind-the-scenes researching, and while I'm not the expert, I've been able to glean a lot of wisdom off of them that I can then take and implement in my own family.
And why not share it? And I know in a little bit, too, we'll talk about a cool Instagram resource that you've kind of become and started for people. But before we dive into that, let's start talking about, you have a cool acronym called SMART, and the first one on your list here for ways to support our children, especially going back to school, is sleep. Let's talk about that.
Sleep. Sleep is foundational for our kids, for their wellness. And the 2 things that I really want to touch on with sleep are removing screens from their rooms. And I know that can seem like a hard one, but it really is so important for their circadian rhythm and for getting them in a really good sleep pattern. And then it helps to have a consistent bedtime and a consistent wake-up time as much as possible. That's what's going to give our kids the best chance at getting good sleep.
Yes, and hopefully that kind of routine sticks with you as you grow up, because I feel like when life gets busy, the first thing to go is sleep, and that's like the #1 thing we need.
Absolutely. I mean, the temptation is to burn the candle at both ends, but we all know that that never is sustainable.
Yes, it's true. Okay, next on your list, and of course you brought some beautiful props in, we have meals. Let's talk meals.
Meals. That is also just a foundational part of wellness for our kids, and we know that kids love the carbs, right? I mean, they're all about the breads, the cakes, cookies, crackers, all of that. What I want to focus on in meals, and we're talking the breakfast that they get started with in their day, the lunches and the snacks that they pack especially. We're looking at clean proteins, healthy fats, and then all the veggies that they'll eat, and that's just going to give them the most stable blood sugar to sustain their energy, but also their mood, their behavior, their focus throughout a school day.
So as you start implementing maybe those healthier foods that kids maybe tend to stray away from, the earlier you introduce them, probably the better off that they're willing to at least try them.
Definitely. I think as early as you can start introducing a bunch of different things to a child's palate, you're going to have a better shot at getting them to eat most things, but it's never too late.
Yeah.
So find something that your kid likes, take it and run with it, and then just keep trying to introduce new things from there.
And something that may be natural for kids to enjoy is being active, being outside, you know, grabbing a bike or a scooter, a basketball, whatever it may be, and hitting the pavement outside.
Yes. So A is for active and outside. We are big believers in activity and fresh air in our house, and especially as kids are spending more time at a desk, stationary, in a classroom, it's really important to get them outside and active so they're sleeping better and they're hungrier at meal times. That's just foundational for their wellness, especially during the school year.
Yes, and a very important one that I really want to hit on that I love that's on your list is relationships.
Relationships. It might not seem like the obvious choice when we're talking about health and wellness, but mental wellness and physical wellness are just inseparable. You can't, you can't separate them out. And I brought a phone because I have found personally, but I also think for a lot of us, screens are our biggest barriers when it comes to relationships. So I think just one actionable thing we can do is when our kids get home, let's dock the screens for a minute, and let's just take 2 to 5 minutes to talk to our kids, make eye contact, give them a hug, tell them you love them, and really take some intentional time to pour into that relationship.
We could all do that. If we all just went home and put our phones down for a second, we're really willing to make that eye contact, all our relationships, especially with kids, probably benefit a lot.
For sure, absolutely.
Okay, and then next on the list we have, I believe, time.
Time management is kind of my umbrella catch-all. And the important thing about time management is when we start 5 minutes earlier, we give ourselves a lot more margin to make healthier decisions. So maybe that means starting 5 minutes earlier, we can have healthier conversations and choose kinder words. Or it might mean that we're not throwing a Pop-Tart in the toaster, and instead we're just frying up a couple of eggs with some avocado or something like that. But the big thing to remember is that time management, starting earlier, just gives us more margin to make healthier choices across the board.
Most definitely. Well, you've already shared so many valuable things to keep in mind. And I know you have a really cool resource I want to hit on really quick, your Instagram page. I personally love following it. Here's a look at it of what people may be able to find on there. Tell us what your motive and your why behind this page is.
My motive is, I think wellness is something that we all struggle with in different ways, and I just want to share a little bit of that practical wisdom that we can do to easily implement wellness into our everyday routines with not just ourselves, but also our families, especially our little ones.
Absolutely. Well, I very much look up to you, and I love the page and the wisdom that you share on that page.
Thank you.
You are a wealth of knowledge, and you clearly have so much to share, and we've just gotten a tiny snippet of it today. So thank you so much for joining us. And if you would like to learn more about maybe some of these great tips, her Instagram, Well With Family, Teresa is right there. You can look that up on Instagram. Follow her. It's very helpful, very good information. And of course, we'll connect you with all the things we talked about today over on our website, CILiving.tv.